we talk about at the destination, but before you even fly, really check you're up to date with everything. Is there a vaccination that your child needs? Is there something outstanding with your doctor that you should have had done? Just get it done. Any of your children need to visit the dentist before you go? Do you have a brace that needs tightening before you leave? This is why it's actually quite stressful before people go away. And the longer they're going away for, the worse.
Yeah.
Always check what the weather's going to be like. I mean, this is really basic stuff, but it's also true. Check what the weather's going to be like where you go, and just make sure you have clothing for warmer weather and cooler weather, even if that's not expected, even if it's just one jumper or one vest top, just in case.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is when we fly, going back to when we fly, is people often like to wear their skinny jeans and a nice tight top. Always advisable to wear loose clothing.
Yeah.
The other thing that we often get as well is, if you do a lot of flying, is DVTs, so a deep vein thrombosis.
You know, the airlines used to be really big into all these movement exercises. Yeah. I don't see that anymore. I mean, I know that's on some channel somewhere, but I don't see them talking about that. And there's a slight amount of discouragement from congregating in galleys and things where you stand up. Like, they remind you, you shouldn't be congregating, but we want to make sure we're moving, right?
Well, I have two theories on this. Okay. Either you're already asleep by the time the advertisement comes on for it, James.
Yeah, pretty much.
You do so much stuff. There's a chance. And number two is, I think since COVID, it's kind of, they are definitely discouraging people moving around the aircraft, whereas previously it was get up and walk around every half an hour. So now just make sure you're wiggling your toes, you're moving your legs up and down, moving your feet around. The idea is just to encourage blood flow back to the heart so that blood doesn't stagnate and you get a clot. And then I think they're the main points to make about being in the air.
Keep hydrated, as we said. Wash your hands, clean your hands, especially when you, get up and you're going things, and just don't touch your face. Like, this is the common stuff that we shouldn't be doing anyway.
Yes. And the other thing to do before you depart as well, going back to medications, if there's anything that you take, carry a copy of your prescription and preferably a letter from your doctor.
Oh.
For instance, if you came from the UK and you were regularly taking a cocodamol, which has an opioid in, you come into the UAE, it would probably be confiscated as soon as you arrived. Or actually, you could get into quite a lot of trouble for that. I was told, and whether it's true or not, that it can be up to 4 years imprisonment with an opioid without a prescription. Wow. And it's not just a prescription, it should also be a letter from your doctor. Okay. So make sure, because we don't know what each country allows or doesn't allow within their healthcare system, make sure you carry a copy of a letter. Again, if you're pregnant, make sure you get a letter from your doctor, and also check with each individual aircraft the guidelines for when they have to stop flying. For instance, for a single pregnancy after 36 weeks, they can no longer fly. So always check things like that as well. And if you're somebody that is not in the best of health and you're planning on traveling, you can actually download from the individual airline forms that you can fill in to ask for special assistance, whether that is a wheelchair onto or off the plane. It might be oxygen. Maybe you need someone to travel with you. So you contact the individual airline for that as well before you go. Because a lot of people think, I couldn't travel now. I couldn't travel. Well, maybe you might be able to, but just go and have a little look about what's available for you from that airline specifically.
So there's a lot of little prep to do.
But it depends how ill you are. Generally, it depends how good a health. Let's face it, most people, they just take their wheelie bag and they just get on the plane. But, for a lot of people, traveling is a huge thing. I mean, you've met my mum a few times now, and even for my mum, traveling in the airport's an issue because of her feet. It can literally wreck her feet and back just with such a long walk, but she won't accept a wheelchair. So sometimes there are things that are available if you need them.
All right. So we finally landed.
We're at the destination.
We're there. We've made it. Woohoo!
Welcome to Barbados.